Good to have you here today. Missouri Senator Roy Blunt is vice chairman of the Senate Republican Conference, and he joins me now. Senator, I guess the first question is, how do you think this is going to go in the Senate? But I guess everybody already knows that, right?
Well, I think everybody knows that, Martha. You said there's a lot we don't know about North Korea. More and more, there's a lot we don't know about what's going to happen in our own country, and it really holds job creators and decision makers back because they don't know what the rules are, and we just continue to heighten the uncertainty. Yesterday, Howard Dean said we ought to let the country go off the fiscal cliff. He's the former chairman of the Democrat National Committee. I don't know why we don't understand that creating certainty here is helpful, and raising taxes right now is not the right thing to get the economy where we want it to be.
Well, obviously, Republicans are likely to hold the line on wanting all of those tax cuts to stay in place because of the way that you see what's happening in the economy. The president has said, and Democrats say, that they're going to point that right back at you and all of the Republicans who vote as you likely will, and say, why wouldn't you just be willing to allow the tax cuts to stay in place for the middle class, and then we'll go back to the rest of it?
Well, of course, that's not exactly what we're going to be talking about at all. The proposal that Senator Reid's going to bring to the floor today actually takes the inheritance tax, the death tax, back to the 2000 standard, much beyond where the president would have gone. It increases farm taxes on family farmers by 20 times and small business taxes 9 times as many small businesses have to comply. They're going to raise dividend taxes, which really impact senior citizens to a higher level than they are today. I just don't know why they think this conversation works. You know, we had this same conversation 2 years ago, and then as soon as the election was over, the president says, well, now's no time to raise taxes on anybody, so let's extend all the current tax policies. The economy's in worse shape today than it was the day the president said that.
You know, I think so many folks at home sit back and they watch the process that's been playing out, and it's extremely frustrating, as you well know, and I'm sure it's frustrating for, you folks who actually work on the Hill as well. But they look at it, they say, we're here about the fiscal cliff. The sequestration was supposed to be something that was put in place so that, so that you'd have to come back to the table and work out some meaningful cuts. The president claimed, just yesterday in a speech that he wants to see some responsible spending cuts take place. I think, what do you tell people who say, why can't you get it together and make something happen that would be productive?
Well, I think we ought to be focused on how we cut spending, and one way to do that would be to have the appropriations bills on the Senate floor. We haven't had a single appropriations bill. We're going to come back in September, and the choices are going to be, do we want to continue to spend at this year's level, or do we want to shut the government down? That's a terrible choice, and the American people know it. There are lots of things we could be doing, but for whatever reason, the Senate is not willing to do them. No budget in 3 years, no debate of any spending bill at all. 6 years that the current majority's been in control, 3 of those 6 years didn't have a single appropriations bill come to the floor, and that's just no way to do business. People know that. I think they're going to know that on Election Day in November, and I wish we could solve these problems right now, but we certainly can't put them off very much longer, and I think everybody in Washington knows that. I don't know why we don't get down to business and do what has to be done.
So are we likely to see the sequestration kick in, the defense cuts kick in, and go over the fiscal cliff come the first of the year?
Well, that's what the former chairman of the Democratic National Committee says ought to happen. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I hope that's not what happens, but a lot's going to be decided by what voters decide to do in November. And if there's a new president, the job of that new president is going to be to convince people that the right things for job growth are going to happen in January, February, and March, and how we're going to get that done.
Senator Roy Blunt, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you very much,
Good to be with
Senator.
you.